Margaret McAdams, and I teach art. All through my entire career in art, I've been very interested in spirituality and also in death and dying. And so this work really evolved after 9/11 and thinking about that. So originally I made a series of the heads which were human on one side, animal on one side. I think about an association of certain characteristics that animals have that humans have. So I began making these forms and found that as I made the heads, which were the first part I made, I thought, what should go underneath the heads? And I talked with Dennis Dean, and he made the suggestion, well, throw a bottle and then add things to it. I'm relatively new to ceramics because I studied as a painter and photographer, and I've always sort of dabbled in ceramics for years and years and years. I always have enjoyed it. But this is the first real serious work I've ever done. And so I am learning the whole time I'm making these. I'm having to learn things. You can't really read in a book how to throw a pot and get a good pot. You have to somebody sit beside you and show you, and even hold your hands in their hands so that you can feel the pressure. And so there's something to me tangible and physical that the ceramic work has that the painting and photographs don't have. And so I started making these forms, and I thought, what could these be used for? And I thought, well, they're perfect for ashes. And it could be symbolically, or it can be aesthetic, just actuality. You can put ashes in them, they're bottles. I teach it because I like communicating with people. My personal preference would be to stay in my studio by myself. But what I hope to do is to share some of that experience that I gain within myself from my experience of making art with someone else. Because, my belief is everybody will love it just as much as I do, whether they do or not. But I want to introduce the students to that possibility. And the students we teach here are pretty much taking maybe their first or second art class. They don't have years and years of experience behind them. And what I hope students will do, and what I encourage students to do, is to think of options and to think about how to be creative in a way that is not cliche, that is not kind of stereotypical creative, and to think about ways of approaching their work so that they get some of themselves in what they're doing. I think it's very important for students to be exposed to the arts, getting themselves physically involved in what they're doing in terms of performance art, in terms of sculpture, in terms of photography, printmaking, drawing, painting, video. I mean, it covers everything. And I will get responses from my students about, I never knew art could be this many things. We can learn to appreciate it through just reading about it or experiencing it, but we can also learn to appreciate it through making it. Because I'll run across students that I taught years ago now and then who will come up to me and say, oh, I'm still painting. I'm a secretary, or I'm a teacher, or I'm a physical therapist, but I'm still making art, when I have time. And that's really what I hope will occur. Because if those individuals are still making art, they're going to be introducing their children to art. And I think that the way of thinking and experiencing the world you gain through making art and appreciating art can be transferred into all different fields and disciplines and occupations.